Yo, guys, welcome back to Around the World Soccer. I am your host, Zach Labasso. Our other host, Addison Howard, could not be here tonight, unfortunately, but we do have a special guest, Jimmy Filerman, the NISA legend, the Detroit City FC legend already. Welcome in. Welcome in. How's it going, my man?
Good. Glad to be here. Excited to see what we got. I watched a little bit of the first episode, so
Yeah, man.
it's like a good project.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy and I used to play together at Old Dominion. He is, left back by trade, but now, more like a left winger. He says he's a left winger, and he's finally scored his first professional goal. So I think he has that claim to fame. Now he's a left winger. And he certainly has the dribbling for it. The dribbling's always been there. So, my freshman year, Jimmy was, were you junior my freshman year? Or sophomore?
Yeah, I think I was technically a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah. Okay. And we won the conference that year. Jimmy was a big part of that. I'd like to say I was a big part of it too, locker room guy, but
everyone's important. Everyone's important.
But yeah, now Jimmy's on to some bigger and better things up at the pro level, playing in NISA, the National Independent Soccer Association for Detroit City FC. And just tell everyone what that's been like, what the vibe is like up there and the league itself, because I know it's growing. It's a big thing. They have that tournament going on, I know, this summer with a bunch of different teams. Just tell everyone about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an up and coming league. It's got its kinks like any other up and coming league, I would say, but I think it's slowly growing, and I think you've got a couple clubs in the league. If you look at us, Chattanooga, Cal United, a couple teams that really do a good job of making it professional and do a good job of, advertising, bringing in a fan base, having your own stadium, getting fans into that stadium. There's a couple teams who really do it well. And like for us in Detroit, I mean, our fan base is unmatched by anyone at this level. I mean, we have our first home game in a month tomorrow, and we're expecting, 6,000-7,000 fans, which for a third division is pretty incredible. I think the NISA does a couple things really well. Like last year we were in the bubble last year. NISA did a really good job of making sure it was safe for us to return to play and things like that, which I think is tough at a lower budget level to make sure it's as safe as they made it. So I think it's a really good up and coming league. They're doing a couple things really correctly.
Yeah, for sure. And I caught a few games last year, and I know there were no fans, but I've seen videos and stuff about what it was like prior to COVID, and it looked like it was jumping. So it'll be exciting to see fans come back to the stadium. And I didn't realize there were 6,000-7,000 that could fit there. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, we're at 50% capacity tomorrow, and that's the expectation is something.
Oh, for 50% is 6 to 7. So that's like basically basically union size. Like that's basically union size.
We've got a wild fan base here in Detroit. The Northern Guard supporters are absolutely unmatched.
Yeah, man.
They really love their football up here, I guess.
That's awesome. Yeah, so, and you guys won a trophy last year. And you guys are off to a great start already this year for what I'm seeing. You guys haven't lost yet, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 4 wins and a tie so far. And then I wasn't here because I was still in Tucson, but if you count the preseason bubble tournament that they did, it was another 3 wins and a tie. So I guess it's about 10 without a loss. So
nice.
Now it is 8.
Nice. Yeah. So you guys are doing well. So ultimately, what do you think the goal of NISA is? Do you think it's to compete with MLS and do that promotion relegation type thing?
I think that's the way down the stretch end goal. I don't know how I don't want to say anything incorrect that could get me in trouble, but I don't know how realistic the goal is at this point. But I think the overall goal, because I know there's a lot of people in NISA who aren't too happy with the way the MLS is ran, the amount of money you have to pay to join the league, no pro, rel, and the USL system, you still pay a couple million. Where do you go from there? You don't really.
Yeah.
There's not much of an end goal. So I think the overall goal in NISA is it's much cheaper to join. And then the overall goal is to get enough teams that they can end up with that.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest issue for that in NISA is because it's cheap, you get some teams who aren't
committed to it.
And I probably can't say who's who, but if you watch and you see some of the stadiums and things, you can tell who's who are the really professionally ran teams, and then there's some that they need to.
Yeah, but I mean that's definitely something good though, because even if you have those teams that aren't as well run, they could start out as the lower level teams and work their way up.
If you get to that point, it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And I
get to that point.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting to see how it moves forward, because I've started to follow it since you've been playing there. And if they can get the pro rel going, like I don't see why it can't start competing with MLS, because then you bring in a whole different aspect of soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, that everyone loves. Because even like on the final day of the Prem, like even bigger than the teams at the top, like everyone's watching the teams at the bottom, because you saw like last year, Aston Villa stayed up by the skin of their teeth because of Grealish, and everyone's like, "Oh, where's Grealish going? Where's Grealish going?" And he ended up staying because he kept his team up, and like stuff like that's crazy.
I mean, the championship in England, the second division, the final there to see who the last team promoted, that game is one of the most watched games on television. Yeah, because it's just so exciting. It's just completely different than something we have here. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome to see.
I mean, I hope it gets to that point, but I think that's a ways
down the line. I mean, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a lot of teams to get going, because you need probably at least three levels to get started. I would say would make the most sense. But I mean, hey, it's a dream, and it's a dream that should be.
They've got right now. I think we have 10 teams in the league, and I think either next in the fall or the spring after, we have Chicago's coming in. There's a team from Rochester. I think they have I think they just gave a grant to a team in Atlanta for 2022. So I think there's going to be 5, 6, something around there, teams joining in the next year and a half, which is exciting.
Nice.
And things are looking up.
Yeah, and I saw something about like some tournament going on this summer, with like regional tournament to go to, like, because I know like Atlantic City FC has their regional thing, and then you guys are all like doing one big tournament. What's that about?
Yeah, I think we did it last year, and it's just like, I think it's a good showcase for some of these NPSL, UPSL, those kinds of teams, for those guys to get experience against professional players. I don't think necessarily it's the greatest competition for us, because they're a lower division, and last year we played the tournament, we kind of handled those teams pretty easily, but I think it's a good showcase for those guys, and it's a good chance for those guys to see how they match up. And if there's potential for those teams down the road, I think it's a good look for them.
Yeah, and it'll certainly be fun
it'll just be us playing 3 NPSL teams. That's kind of how it is. And I don't think that there's intermingling of the divisions. You just play your division.
Gotcha.
I think that's how it works.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. Well, I've been talking to Roger a bit. Our buddy Roger Rojas is playing for Atlantic City FC. He has a couple games around here, so I'm trying to catch that. I'm going to see Luke Campbell play tomorrow. He's playing for Nova FC in Virginia, and he plays a team in Jersey. Hold on. I think we might. Oh no, we're back. All right. Yeah. I'm going to see Luke play tomorrow. In Jersey, he's playing for Nova FC. Which is, I think, an NPSL team. But yeah, dude, like it's awesome to see everything that's coming up. You're balling out, obviously, for DCFC. NISA's growing. But I mean, big news on the weekend, obviously, or this weekend, last weekend, whenever it was, Champions League. Big news. Yeah, this past Saturday. Yeah. It seems like forever ago already. With all like the news, Ancelotti going to Real Madrid, all that stuff's coming out. Aguero to Barca, with like 2 days after the final, he was in Barcelona. Yeah. It was crazy.
I think it's literally the next day.
Yeah, dude, craziness. But yeah, the final was nuts, because I mean, Pep kind of fluffed it, in my opinion. Pep kind of fluffed it with the lineup.
I just, if you asked me a month, 3 weeks ago, if there was any chance for Chelsea, I would have. You're insane.
I was saying the same thing.
Yeah. So I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was 100% all in on City. I always think this is City's year. I always think City is probably the best team in the world, and then every year they find a way to not get it done. So
yeah, I don't understand, like the whole Sterling thing didn't make sense to me, simply because like he's been bad recently. And also,
Yeah.
like, you lose the defensive midfielder from the trio
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
And that's like the
Rodri
main, Rodri or Fernandinho would have been fine.
Yeah.
And with them, I don't think that goal happens because like someone's sitting there covering that space that's left open. And I don't know what Zinchenko is doing either.
I mean, that's a great ball, but it's just horrendous
Fantastic ball.
defense.
Because like
But it's just
playing
horrendous
left back,
defense.
you playing left back forever. Why was Zinchenko so far from Havertz?
You know what's funny is with Zinchenko, I've been saying since he got to Man City, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get how this guy is on the field whatsoever. And then finally this season, I was saying, all right, I kind of see it. Like,
he was playing well. He was playing well.
And then we get to the final, and he goes back to his old self, where he just makes clear mistakes for somebody who should not be on the field for Man City.
Yeah, I mean, because I was thinking, I thought Cancelo was starting like 100%. I was like, I know Cancelo's not a left back, but I would play him there because he's proved like he's played for Juve in Champions League forever. He's just been a very solid player. So I don't understand why. Like, I get why he played Zinchenko because Zinchenko had been playing well, but like he was so like Havertz had the lane was big enough to drive a truck through. Like to drive a truck through.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was wild. It was tremendous defending. I've been saying it was Zinchenko since I started watching him. He does he keeps the ball really well, and then all of a sudden he just makes an absolutely tragic mistake out of nowhere. He'll be up midfield and just give the ball away, and you're like, why were you in the midfield in the first place? Things like that where it's just how do you do these kinds of things?
For sure. And it was funny too because during the game, like Kyle Walker for the first like 70 minutes was like the best player on the field in my opinion. Like he was balling out. He was making Chilwell look silly.
He's been unbelievable.
Yeah, and then the last 30 minutes, it looked like he forgot how to play soccer. Like he gave the ball away like every single time he had it. And I was like, this is like a different guy.
Yeah, well, that England squad, I saw that Trent's probably coming off, or I don't know if he's officially off.
No, he's officially on. No, he's on. He made it. So
he's on.
Yeah, so he's on.
I just saw rumors he was probably not going to make it.
Yeah, no. So they kept 4 right backs. They kept Trippier, Reece James, Walker, and Trent. Good. Now Walker's probably going to play center back because it's going to be a 5-back.
Yeah.
They also kept Saka from Arsenal, which is cool. I think he's a very good utility player, like because you could put him at left back if you need. You could play him at right mid, wherever you need him to play, he could play.
They've got some fun young guys on that team.
Absolutely,
English team.
Southgate kept Grealish this time, and he doesn't usually call up Grealish.
Good. How could you not,
dude? He is so fun to watch.
Every week I watch him, and I'm like, this is the most fun guy to watch.
Absolutely, and he doesn't even wear shin guards. I don't think he can't. There's no way. But he's so fun to watch. They have Foden, who's ridiculous. Henderson hopefully fit. Henderson's hopefully fit. He can hold down that midfield. We'll see. And then the trio, front three, like I don't even know who you go with. It's probably going to be Grealish, Kane, and Foden. Maybe Rashford, but
Rashford, yeah, I think Rashford will probably be in there.
It's a crazy team.
Is.
Yeah, it's a crazy team. You have Shaw at left back. The big question is Maguire center back because he's still hurt. So they don't know if he's going to play or not.
Yeah. I don't think defensively I trust it too much. I was looking at the center backs and I didn't think it was great. And then you have Kyle Walker sliding in there. Who was the other one? It was Maguire and Stones.
It was probably going to be Maguire, Stones, and then Walker.
Walker.
But then you also have Tyrone Mings, who I don't rate at all. I don't think Tyrone Mings is very good. I think he only brought him because he's a lefty. He's the only left-footed center back they have.
I rated him, but I used to rate him. Where was he? Bournemouth?
He was at
right?
Bournemouth. He's at Aston Villa now. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's at City. Yeah. Well, I used to rate him a couple of years ago, but I haven't really seen much of him.
And then I think
he's never in the game.
Yeah, and then I think he brought Cody just because he plays in the 3-back at Wolves. But I don't it's weird. It's very weird.
Cody's the fantasy prem. I love him in fantasy prem. He scores headers. He gets shutouts out of nowhere. I love him.
He does.
Cody's the guy.
That's very true. But yeah, have you like kept in touch with all the guys like from school? Like you're still in touch with Tennant. I know he's still playing somehow for Lionsbridge. He's coaching and playing. The man does it all.
Yeah. The night I scored my first professional goal, I was texting Tennant and he also bagged one.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
So No, I still keep in touch with everyone a little bit. I mean, I talk to Amir Najib probably every day. He's probably the one I speak to the
Dude,
most.
I
But
love that guy. Love that guy.
I think I mean, I'm obviously a young professional, and it's only my second season, and
Yeah.
I've already made some mistakes here and there. So I've already been through it a little bit. So what's cool for me a little bit with some of the guys who went to ODU is you have Luke, who's still, he's still trying to play.
Mhm.
Kaio is
Yeah,
playing
he's
now
up.
at
Yep.
Chattanooga.
Yep.
Roger's still trying to play a little
CJ's
bit.
coaching now, like big time.
Yeah, CJ's coaching. But what's cool is being of those guys, like I'm the longest term professional
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
So quickly have I already kind of ended up in this like little bit of a veteran role, which is new to me.
Mhm.
And it's like, because being a professional is new to me, and I still have to give the advice sometimes where they're, hey, I have this tryout. What do you think? What do you know about this team? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a cool role where I don't know much about the professional world, and I'm still learning from these guys I'm playing with, and I'm trying to pass that information on a little bit to Luke, Kyle, Roger, those guys who are still trying to make something happen for themselves. So
Yeah, absolutely.
With those guys, it's a cool contact.
Yeah, I mean, and you've always been like a leader, at least when we were at ODU for sure.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I went on my first visit in the summer, Jimmy was the guy I stayed. Actually, Jimmy wasn't even the guy I was supposed to stay with. I was staying with two other guys, and they had homework to do or whatever, so they just dropped me off with Jimmy, and we played games all night. Jimmy made me feel comfortable, and we, and then I ended up going to ODU, and it was a great time. It was super fun.
I mean, I think it's a little different in college because I think the leaders are just kind of whoever's playing.
Yeah,
and I think at a professional level, it's not necessarily always that way.
Although to be fair, my freshman year, Amir was such a big leader, like such a big leader.
Amir was a rare case where he didn't have to touch the field, and he was the biggest presence in the locker room.
Oh, absolutely,
he was rare.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a guy!
Yeah.
What an absolute legend.
I remember talking to you. I don't know if you were recruited by Travis or Tennant. I don't know.
So it was Tennant. It was Tennant. Yeah.
Did you meet Travis Mirnick? He was our assistant coach at the time.
I did.
I'll never forget at a training session, I'm playing against Amir, and I'm super frustrated because he never shuts up.
Ever.
He's
always
buzzing, and he's getting into tackles. And the kid has no business being on the field, but for some reason he's really making things happen. And I remember saying something to Travis after, and I was like, man, like Amir is such a pest to play against. And Travis looks at me and goes, Amir has the ability of a high schooler, probably never should have even played Division III soccer or soccer at all, but he'll find a way to play 90 minutes at some point for this team because he's the best attitude of anyone I've ever coached.
Yeah.
And it was something along the lines of that. And I was like, man, a lot of people could learn from this guy. Like if you gave Amir the talent of some of the other guys we had in the team, he'd probably be playing in the MLS right now just because of the attitude he had.
Absolutely. So. I don't think the only time I think I've ever seen him in a bad mood is when we had to run lappers. I'm pretty sure that's it. I've never seen him in a bad mood.
He doesn't love fitness. That's probably the only question mark. But I mean, even when we did fitness tests, he was always one of the guys finishing and actually making it. So whether or not he was playing, and other guys who were playing the whole game weren't finishing their fitness tests. So kudos to him. He was a rare kind of guy that you don't get much of anymore.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Now, also, Jimmy's also a bit of a basketball player. For those of you who don't know, he's got pretty much as good handles on the court as he does on the field. He's a he passes a lot more on the court than he does on the field. And right now
I was Detroit City League sister last year, so I could pass the ball.
All right, fair enough. I did not. I did see your bicycle kick assist though. I did see that. They did end up giving you that one, right? Because I know it deflected and they were like questioning it.
It probably shouldn't have counted,
but I'm sure you fought for that one. I'm sure you're like, nah, I should have that one.
Yeah, I was in the press box. After the game, make sure you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now my Sixers are currently going up against your Wizards. 3-1. Embiid, knee soreness now, so I don't know if he's gonna be playing the next game or whatever. What do you think?
He's doubtful tomorrow.
Is he? All right. Do you think you guys can mount a little comeback?
No.
Nope.
I think that getting to the playoffs was a reasonable goal for us, and I think that it's all downhill from here. I think if we got up against the Nets, I gave us more of a chance than the Sixers just because of that Russ KD drama.
Mm-hmm.
And we were We were 2-0 against the Nets this year, and they actually played us with all three of the guys, and we were one of the rare teams who beat them.
Yeah.
With all three of the guys. I think we had a shot. I don't think we have a big man anywhere close enough to guarding Embiid. We've got that rotation of three poor big men. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, dude, Embiid's a problem, man. Like, I think if the Sixers end up playing the Nets, like, I don't see who's guarding it. Like, I don't see any, like, because KD's gonna try. And I don't think it's gonna work.
I'm in the bus right now. I think the Bucks are finally gonna get it together this playoff run. I think the Bucks are gonna take the East because I think they've got three guys in Giannis, and I think they've got Drew. I think they can guard the net, and I think that Giannis can get up against Embiid or Ben Simmons. I think they can create matchup.
Yeah, they're definitely the team that worries me the most for sure. Now on to something that's very interesting is the national team and the hype around the U.S. national team and everything that's going on. I mean, we got dudes balling all over the world.
I saw something today on Instagram. I wish I had my phone. I'd pull it up. And it was like all of the trophies that Americans had won this year in Europe. And it was unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I had no idea. It was things that like I didn't even know about. Like, I'm trying to think. Like,
well, so
I think
Zach
even like
Steffen
Mark McKenzie.
Yeah, he won a trophy. Something. Yeah, he won a trophy in Belgium. He won the League Cup. Brendan Aronson won the league in Austria. Zach Steffen won the Prem and the Carabao Cup. Pulisic won Champions League, obviously. Dest had the
Copa del Rey.
Yep. Dest with the Copa. Dude, just guys winning all over the place. It's crazy.
I think someone even won the League One. Was it Tim Way won League One?
Yeah, Tim Way won League One. Yeah. In France. They just got dudes, man. They got and they're all contributing too. Like, it's not guys who are just sitting on the bench doing nothing. Like, they're all contributing. Like Dest started
maybe like
Zach Steffen. All right, Zach Steffen, but you know, Ederson's kind of hard to beat. You can't.
It's tough as a keeper.
Yeah, you can't jump over the guy who's the second best passer on Man City from the goalkeeper position. Like my man, he pings both feet like 80 yards, and it's insane.
He's a joke. I remember when I was playing with the Sounders 23s, we had a coach at the time who made us watch like Man City film and watch their build up. But they're like, when you're watching their build up, Ederson's pinging balls through three lines on a dime, 45 yards.
Yeah, like skimming them on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking around like, what are we learning from watching this? Our keeper's not doing that. So
we don't have a dude who can do that. Yeah. Bro. Yeah, he's insane. He's insane. And I think Zach Steffen definitely has stuff to learn still. He makes mistakes. You saw it in the FA Cup against Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, he's learning from the best, like, pretty much.
It's tough, keeper, man. They'll go their whole career till they're like 30 years old and as a backup, and then finally they get their chance. You know, it's
like Mendy, for instance. Like Mendy for Chelsea was thinking about stopping playing soccer altogether, and he 7 years ago, and then he ends up winning the Champions League, his first African goalkeeper to ever do it. So
it's so that by far the hardest position, I think, maybe even in sports too.
Yeah, because
the position from the starter
mentally too. Like, think about it mentally. Like, if you're conceding goals, like, even if they're not your fault, they're your fault. Like, it's the worst job to have. Like, I'm coaching kids, and they're like, I want to be goalie. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't want to be. I promise you.
At that age, you do.
Everyone's like, I want to be a goalie. And I'm like, I promise you, you don't want to be a keeper. Like,
I know. I remember as a kid, I had a pair of goalie gloves in my bag, you know.
Always.
Goalie today. And my coach was like, absolutely not. Like, you're scoring like 6 goals in these rec games. We're probably going to not put you in there.
Yeah, that's not your position, dude. I hate to break it to you, but you're not going to be a keeper.
Yeah.
So the U.S. lost to Switzerland yesterday. They didn't have their full team. Steffen wasn't there, and Pulisic wasn't there, obviously, because of the Champions League.
Yeah.
But they have Nation League this week. Now, who's your favorite player on the team?
I mean, Pulisic is the obvious answer, but I used to think we're not going to have another guy like this. Like, he's the man. The more the national team's getting better, I'm really starting to look at Dest playing with Barca and be like,
dude,
this guy plays like he belongs here. And he's just plays. The thing about him is he plays so confident. Like, he's not scared he gets on the wing and he'll take a guy on, roll over, 3 scissors, meg the guy,
Dude,
serve the ball, and I'm like, that's an American 21-year-old doing that in the like Champions League, like that's unbelievable. So
yeah.
I think right now I'd probably go with Dest.
He's also my favorite, dude. And like he's not
Yeah.
he kind of reminds me of you. Like he's playing right back, even though he shouldn't be playing right back. Like he shouldn't be like
Yeah,
he's way too saucy to be back there. Now, like I
Yeah,
think
I'm a
I
fan.
think to utilize him, like the US should try playing 3-4-3 and have him play like that right mid. I think he'd be
Yeah.
so good there.
Who do you have on the left in that situation?
Probably Anthony Robinson from Fulham. I think he can do a job.
Okay.
Especially I don't like
Yeah, I don't
defensively.
know much about
Defensively, he's kind of suspect, but I think in a 3-4-3, it gives him the freedom to like go forward and not have to defend as much as he would have to.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, to be honest.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's definitely got stuff to do, but I think he's better than Reggie Cannon. I'd rather Dest play on the right over Reggie Cannon and have him play on the left.
Interesting. Also, I really like Sargent. I wish I would see more of him.
Yeah, I agree. I
think they just got really good.
They did. They've been talking about him leaving, so he's not going to stay with them. And I think he reminds me a lot of like a less skillful Bobby Firmino. Like I think because he doesn't score all the goals and stuff, but he links play so well, and his hold up plays crazy.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, Daryl Dike is the guy," and I'm like, "Yeah, but he can't. His first touch is not good. Like and I think in this team we are built to possess the ball. Like everyone on the team is playing for teams that keep the ball."
I think it's good to have both because certain games you need certain things.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think DK is unbelievable. Some of the goals I see this man score, I'm like, that is just a man.
Yeah, he's a man.
I'm in no place to say that anything bad about any of these guys because I would do anything to be one of them. But I think that I would pick Sargent if I had to play with one as my striker because I'm looking for a guy, me personally, I love playing that ball in, getting around, getting the ball back. And I think that Sargent's hold-up play is probably much more what I'd be
definitely
hoping to play with. So that would be
but then you also, like, if you bring DK off the bench, like, imagine having to deal with him after, like, 70 minutes of dealing with
tired
the press.
legs. Dude, do not want to deal with that.
Not want to deal with him. That was like what I was saying when Tuchel brought on Pulisic in the Champions League. Like, if you're City and you're seeing him come off the bench, you're like, long day. Like, this
what
is rough.
What did you think of Pulisic's comments after the semifinal where he was frustrated? He was like, it seems like I always have to keep proving myself.
I mean, it's true. But I think the main problem is with Chelsea, like, they don't play with wingers. So, like, he's in a system where he doesn't fit in. So, I mean, but every time he plays, he does well. So
I think so too. Yeah,
like he played super well in the final. Like I thought he balled out. Now the chip, like, and people were saying like, oh, he should have scored. I think if he hits that on target, Ederson saves it anyway. Like I don't think it's going in.
I mean, probably depends how you hit it, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to keep proving himself. Like he's an American. Like no one's gonna. But if he can get into a system where he can consistently start, he could be one of the best wingers in the league. Simply because he is fearless going at people. Fearless.
I think sick. I didn't like the comment from a 22-year-old, 23-year-old American. I don't know how old he is. 22.
He's a little older than me. So yeah, he's 22 right now. He turns 23 in a couple months.
I was just like, any 22-year-old needs to keep proving themselves.
Besides Neymar or like Messi.
Yeah. But even those guys, like, I mean, they're gonna play no matter what. But even them, when they go out and they have a bad day, social media absolutely rips those guys.
Rips them.
That's just the nature of the business in not only soccer, but all of athletics.
Yeah.
Every time you go on the field, you're there to prove yourself. And if you're not proving yourself, you probably shouldn't be on the field.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of being on the field is to prove yourself.
I think his comments were more geared towards like Tuchel himself and not like so much like the media and stuff. So like I get that. Like he's already proven to Tuchel that he should be starting and he's still not. Like I think like if you're asking me right now who I'd rather have playing, like creatively, like I think I'd start Pulisic over Werner, like just because I think that Havertz can be that guy up top to score the goals. And I think Pulisic creates way more than Werner does.
Yeah, I think to the naked eye, Werner is like not a great player, but I think the little things he does so well goes so underrespected.
I totally agree. His runs are
football.
runs are crazy good. Like he draws
Yeah.
defenders away. Like even the goal that Chelsea scored, like he drew. I forget who the center back on the right side was, but he drew him away and right through. I think it was Ruben Diaz, but
and he works so hard. He just works so hard all for 90
and he didn't even have
game.
he didn't even have a bad season. Like he had double digit goals and assists all comps, which like no one's done for Chelsea since Lampard.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just disappointing because if you aren't a big soccer player and you watch Chelsea, which a lot of Americans don't really know what they're watching, and they just pick a team and Chelsea's their team.
Yeah.
He misses chances. That's all they see is
Chelsea also bought him on the back of him scoring, I think it was like 40 some odd goals last year.
Yeah.
So like to only score like 14 or whatever he had is like a bit of a letdown, but at the same time, like he didn't have a bad season. I watched this one podcast, the True Geordie podcast, and they do like reactions to like games and stuff. And they have a one Chelsea fan on there. And he's like, yeah, I've already written off Werner. And I'm like, why? Like, why?
Yeah. See, that's what I don't like. I think he's underrated. I think.
And he's only 23. I don't think people realize how young he is.
Yeah.
Like he's only 23 years old.
Yeah.
But what was the other thing I wanted to mention? So we talked about Des, the national team. I mean, we got World Cup qualifiers coming up soon. Prayers that we do it this time, because I don't think I could take it if we don't.
Yeah. That last World Cup, I can still remember. I watched it at ODU with like 4 of my roommates. Me and Amir Najib at the time were sitting on the edge of our seats. And I forget what the probability they said. It was like a 98% chance of us actually qualifying, and somehow we blew it.
All they had to do was a tie. All they had to do was tie. And then even when they lost, all they had to do was Costa Rica lose.
Tie and 2 other results. Yeah. And I still remember the game ended. No words were said. We turned off the TV and we just sat there in silence for like 20 minutes. Nobody looked at each other. Nobody said anything. We all just sat there in disbelief, like for a full 20 minutes, like no exaggeration. I remember I had a girlfriend at the time. She's blowing my phone up like, you're supposed to come over after the game. Like, what's going on? And I just couldn't get myself out of to even look at my phone. I was like, this is unbelievable. So they need that redemption, because that's shocking what happened there.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, like the team, like that team specifically, like they didn't deserve to make it. Like they were horrible. Like they were all like, and the thing was too, is they thought they were good. Like they thought they were the hottest stuff.
Yeah, we weren't gonna make much of a run in the
absolutely
World Cup,
not,
even if we made it.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So honestly, like, and a lot of people like kind of come at me for this take, but I think it was a blessing that we didn't make it, because if not making it
started the new wave.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because now, like, I think our whole team, bar like 3 guys, are under 23 years old.
I was about to say, I think it was a statistic like after that World Cup, we had like a friendly a year later, and it was the youngest national team we had ever put out like on the field. It was like the average age was like, I think just under 22 years old. And it was like Bradley was finally gone. Like all these like older guys were on the way out, and it was the youngest team we'd ever put out there. And it was like, okay, maybe this is what we needed. Like, let's start over. And I think it's worked. So
absolutely.
Maybe it was.
For sure. I'm excited, man. I love the midfield too. You got, I don't know if Yunus Musa is going to play a bunch because he's still kind of raw, but you got Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams in there, and Weston McKennie is so good.
I love both of those two. They both work so hard to win the ball back when we lose it, and I love that in center mid. I think those two are unbelievable. Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie. I love both. Yeah,
and the thing I love most about Weston is like he's like always trying to score too. Like when I watch him play for Juve, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna score a goal. Like whoever, like Chiesa's got the ball and he's just making through runs, and then like they lose it and he's the first guy back, And I'm like, how is he doing this?
He doesn't look like he would have his pace and be as fit as he is.
Absolutely.
Because he's kind of got like that thicker body type, but he just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
and it's
at
like,
all.
I love it.
It's awesome. And it's just, the midfield. So now, like he's still like a little raw on the foot skill stuff, but like once he gets that passing and stuff, like very consistent, dude, he's going to be one of those guys that like Juve sells for like 70, 80 million, because they're already trying to sell him for 50. Like, and
he's
big time. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Now back to Daryl DK. Was he there when we played UVA my freshman year? Because he was at UVA. And I don't remember when he was there.
He didn't start?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that he would have came the next year. Because that was 2017. I think he left in 2020. I think he left as sophomore.
Gotcha.
So I don't think so.
Could you imagine? We were like, we played him, we beat him. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That was a crazy.
We had no business winning that game. We touched the ball like 6 times.
Dude, I came on. I came on with like 20 minutes left, and Tennant was like, just chase. I was like, all right. Now, and he put me at striker, which all preseason I was practicing at outside mid. So I had no idea what to do. I was so confused. And I remember I was literally like at the top of the D for the majority of just defending, like running back and forth.
What's funny about ODU was our name wasn't the most recognizable, but we were going to be the hardest team you played all year. Because I remember I was texting my buddies who played for UVA, because we all played in the DC United Academy together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I hope you guys are ready, like for the heart, like to grind this one out. And my buddy texts me, he's like, just try not to lose 10-0. Like, we're not even worried about you guys. We get out there and score in the 15 minutes in. And you could see their faces are like, oh, what just happened? And then the worst part of us is you give up that goal.
We're not conceding.
We're playing like we play for Mourinho, 11 bodies behind the ball.
Yeah.
One guy chasing it. And if he picks it up, we'll all come sprinting. Like, it was terrible football at times. They did not see that coming. They were not ready for us.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And they're used to that ACC style of soccer where the ball moves. So, they didn't know anything about the Conference USA.
No, they had no. Speaking of Conference USA, Marshall, national champions, man. How crazy is that?
When I got to college, Marshall was an absolute joke. So, I mean, I'm happy for them. When I played for the Seattle Sounders, we had 2 to a bedroom for the U23s, and my roommate, the one I stayed in a room with, he plays for Marshall now. He transferred there this year.
Oh wow, good for him.
He played every minute as a center back for them. So I'm ecstatic for him. I couldn't be happier for him. I mean, he's an absolute baller. I'm hoping somebody gives him a look. I mean, he's only a junior, but I think he's good enough to play in the USL already. So hopefully someone will give him a look after that national championship.
And what's crazy too is they had like a tough road to get there. Like the final, they played Indiana, right? They played Georgetown, who won last year. I think they played UNC.
Clemson.
They played Clemson
and Clemson.
Dude, jeez. Yeah. They went through the gauntlet, man.
Yeah. Like I said, my buddy was playing for them, and I was texting him, and I was like, who you got this game? And he would tell me, and I'd be like, geez. He'd go, we're not worried at all, bro. We slay Giants. And I'm like, this guy's confidence is unbelievable. He's playing for Marshall. And then, sure enough, he was right. They slay Giants.
Yeah, man. And props to the coaching staff. My freshman year too. Like we were like a machine. Like we had that one game against Coastal and the one game against the team from PA. I'm losing St. Francis, where like. Remember, it was like the thunderstorm game or whatever, and we had to go back out, and it was like 5-2 or something crazy. But other than that, like we took UNC to overtime. We were winning the entire game against UNC, and we let up that late goal, and then they scored an OT. But like we just defensively were insane the whole year.
Yeah, I mean we had 2 stellar center backs who were just solid rocks in Foxy and Rye.
Yeah,
and then. I think with me and G had a good balance of G didn't go forward too much and he wanted to defend, and I just wanted to go get in the attack, and I think that worked out well for us. I think that our back line was just worked, and then Tommy was still liked to run back then. He wasn't as much
he
of an old
wasn't
man as
the
he might
grandpa.
be
He
now.
wasn't the grandpa. He wasn't the grandpa we all know and love.
So Tommy was still he was fresh and spry and new to college soccer, still liked it, so he was running his butt off.
Seba was doing work.
Yeah.
You had the wingers. You had Nico on the left, and who's playing right? Was it Hansi? Was Hansi starting a lot, or was it?
Yeah, Hansi was, and then Maxi up top.
Maxi was just bagging goals, man, bagging goals.
And Brandon Perdue back in the day.
Brandon had a bunch, and then even off the bench, like I remember conference tournament, Luke had to play because G got hurt.
Yeah.
And Luke did. I mean, Luke got sauced. Luke got sauced a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. He got his pants dropped. But all in all, solid baller. And like we said, he's still playing, trying to make something happen. But yeah, dude, that was a fun year. That was definitely a fun year.
Yeah, I think probably in my whole career. I mean, I would say this year with Detroit, and then that year in that conference were probably two of the most fun locker rooms I've ever been a part of.
Dude,
bro. It's just like, when you've got a good team because everyone's so excited to be there. Everyone just gets on well. Training is fun every day. Like everyone's excited to get in there because I've played in some seasons where it's like you just dread going to training and you're like, I don't even want to go be around these guys. So
yeah,
I think that was such an important component to our success. And even here in Detroit, I think that's a huge part of our success as well as that camaraderie within the team.
Yeah, for sure. It's also so interesting too, what like I found, because like, obviously I didn't play much, my freshman year, I got that concussion, whatever. And then struggled to get back. And then my sophomore year, I was hurt all fall, but I noticed, and especially like after I came back from my concussion, my confidence was super low because I felt like there was so much pressure on me to do well at practice, not even for myself, but to just make the team better. But then like once I decided to transfer, there was like no pressure, and I like felt like I was a new person. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. And I just wish that I had like mentally been able to like flip that switch when I still was at ODU and still playing, because I would have just enjoyed playing so much more than I did.
Yeah. I think that's a huge thing. I think that's one thing that a normal person who didn't play a college sport, professional sport, I think that's just what people don't realize about athletes is like 50% of the battle is just mentally being ready. Yeah. Mentally being able to withstand ups and downs of a season. You give up a goal and you made a mistake. Like it's so hard. To just keep your confidence up. And I know like throughout my entire career, I've had teammates who I rubbed the wrong way because I've always been just like arrogant might even be the word, like a confident guy.
Yeah, but and like it is what it is.
But I think personally, I think that's one of the most important things to my success is I need that in order to be as much of a player as I am. Is I need to look at the guy across the field and just think, whatever, I'm better than him. Who cares?
You're not beating me. I'm going to sauce you every time I get the ball. I
think the mental aspect is massive. Like we have a goalkeeper, our starting goalkeeper, Nate Steinwasser. I mean, he's probably the best goalkeeper in NISA. Might even be one of the better goalkeepers in the USL if he ever made that jump. But he has a second job. He works as a CPA or CBA, whatever it is. He's an accountant. That's where the majority of his income comes from. Yeah. And that's more important to him. And I think that the fact that there's so little pressure on him because it's just whatever, I have this other job.
Yeah.
And he's just so good as a goalkeeper because he's not scared to make mistakes and he just does things unbelievable. And his feet are so good. He can get to the ball and zing it, put it on a dime wherever he wants because he just doesn't fear.
Yeah, he's just like, he's like, if I make a mistake, I'll just go be an accountant.
Every pro should go get a second job, but
that's definitely
I'm not saying that's the right thing for every guy, but for him.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting thing to think about.
I think that mental battle.
Yeah, because
I think the mental battle is just massive.
It's so tough. And I remember like coming off of my concussion, which I might have to post like the video because it's still one of the funniest videos I think I've ever seen in my life. But just coming off my concussion, like it was so hard to get back into it. Like I just felt like I didn't remember how to play like I had before. And it's funny because like that game I scored, I came in and we were like moving the ball real well. I scored a goal and I get hurt. And then, and that was basically it. That was like my college career done at the end of the day. Cause sophomore year I was hurt. But I mean, it all worked out. You know, I'm doing this now. I got coaching. And I get to talk to cool guys like you all the time, which is fun.
Yeah. God's plan.
Absolutely.
I mean, everything happens for a reason, huh?
Yeah. And you know what? The most important part about going to ODU is definitely just meeting all the guys, because that group that we had my freshman and my sophomore year was just awesome. Just absolutely awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I get asked that question if you could change, like, would you change schools? Would you go to a bigger school? Blah, blah, blah. And like, I was looking at Penn State, some league, and it's like, soccer wise, ODU is good, but I don't know if it was the right fit for me. But just the entire experience, I would never trade it for the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it was just fantastic. The guys I met are unbelievable. I mean, Tennant is like a dad to me. I mean, I still talk to Tennant every day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah, Tennant's definitely up there with one of the best coaches I ever, not even just personally had, just come in contact with. Like, he was tactically, I know he didn't want us to play the prettiest soccer, which is cool. We won a conference championship doing it. But just as a motivational guy and someone who you could if I was ever struggling with anything, I could walk into his office anytime and go talk to him. He was that guy, and he's just.
I think that I think a lot of guys.
We're having some technical difficulties, I believe. We'll try and get Jimmy back in real quick. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the podcast for right now. If we can't get Jimmy in, it was a pleasure having him. Hopefully he jumps back in. Let me send him a quick text. Yeah, we'll see if he jumps back in. But yeah, dude, Jimmy's a great guy. Oh, he's coming back in. Let's see. Oh, there he is. Wait till he gets his screen up and his mic working. Then he can finish his cool story about Tennant. We back?
What's happening
there? All right. So yes, continue your story, and then we'll head off.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It just kind of cut out. But I was just saying, I think Dawson is a tough. Coach Dawson was a kind of a tough guy to play for.
Yeah.
I think that if you don't already come with such an inner confidence, he's not the best at motivating the second half of the roster who's not playing too much. But I think that he's so good at winning.
Yeah, no,
just a winner job of just getting results. He does a great job of the top half really motivating those guys to win.
Yeah.
And I think it's him and Tennant hand in hand. Tennant does a lot of the day-to-day, and Dawson's more of a big picture kind of guy. But I think that his just overall ability to win is lost on a lot of people that have came through the program.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. You could just see it because Tennant was the tactics guy, and I'm sure Dawson had input there too, and they talked about it, but Tennant really drilled that into us and was also the guy who would get on us, obviously, but he would also pick us up when we were down. He knew when some guys were struggling or whatever, and he was there. And same with Harm. Harm was the real player guy, and he knew what was going on. But then Dawson, he knew how to win. He knew how to win games, man. He knew how to win games, plain and simple.
What me and Tennant, what I loved about Tennant was just how much he cared about the game. I've never had a coach the game would end and we'd get it on Instat, and right after the game, I'd go sit in tenant's office, and him and I would watch an hour of film right after the game.
Yeah.
And maybe not so much sophomore year because I was still a young guy, but my senior year, I could honestly say that those games I probably watched with him 2-3 times back, and he would cut film for me and say, "Look at what you did here. Look at this run. Look at that run. Why did you make this run? Why didn't you give this guy the ball?" Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I can't be more grateful for the amount of time and effort he genuinely put into not only making the team better, but making me individually a better player. Because I mean, they needed a guy to go pro. It had been kind of a while.
It had been a decent amount of time.
It was beneficial for both him and I. So I can't thank him enough for that.
Yeah,
kind of
I'm looking forward to see when he gets his opportunity to, head coach, whether it's when Dawson's done at ODU or if he ends up going. So I can't see him leaving ODU. Like I can't. I couldn't imagine him. I know he went to Elon for that 1 year, but he believes.
Well, he's got the bridge now. He's playing Lions Bridge player coach, and then he's got his whole everyone in his community in Virginia Beach.
Yeah,
I think he's a Virginia Beach guy through and through at this point. But you never know.
Yeah, you never know. But I look forward to when he gets that chance. I look forward to when he gets that chance to see what he can do with the program when he's at the reins for sure. But I think that's going to be us done for today. Anything else you want to add, Jimbo?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Yeah. All right. So remember, Around the World Soccer, follow us on socials at ATW Soccer Pod on Twitter. You can follow Jimmy at 5M2 on Twitter, myself at ZLobo98. That's ZLOBO98. And Jimmy is at 5M2, FILERMAN. Right? I had that right. Okay. Yeah. It's right on the screen. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't just read it. That's at FILERMAN2, the number 2. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we will see you on the next one. Thank you very much, Jimmy, for joining us, and we'll catch you guys later.
Yeah.